Welcome to the video podcast that was voted one of the best in the marketing research industry, first in 2019, and again in 2020. And in 2022, it's been named by FeedSpot as one of YouTube's very best locations if you're looking for market research information. This is Research Business Daily Report. We are aired every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday most weeks, and we present a news item that most likely has not been seen by you much or at all. And we do rely on viewers' support, and we'll talk to you at the end of today's RBDR about what you might be able to do about that. My name is Bob Lederer. I'm in my 27th year as the respected voice in market research. As inflation has continued unabated around the world, and especially here in the United States, the major consumer packaged goods companies have sought to maintain profitability. They do have shareholders to appease, and there have been price increases at the shelf that are substantial. The only problem, it's for consumers who are suffering even more from inflation, is that these CPG companies' retail price increases have not just accounted for their greater cost for ingredients, materials, etc. In fact, a news item from Tom Perkins in the British newspaper The Guardian describes a situation in which, quote, companies have enriched themselves and their investors while boasting about jacking up prices. The average salary increase for American workers this year is just over 5%, while at the same time inflation, measured on an annual basis, has reached about 8.5%. So, we haven't heard about these at all, but issues of brand equity and price elasticity have certainly come to the fore inside companies. And so far, consumer spending has demonstrated that shoppers like, perhaps they even love, their favorite brands to the point that they have been willing to dig deep in their pockets to pay more for them. Actually, a lot deeper in their pockets than what they might know and certainly what they have been paying. According to the story in The Guardian, American business filings with the FCC from 100 U.S. companies earlier showed those businesses' net profits up by a median of 49%. But there's more statistical data. The U.S. Commerce Department revealed corporate profit margins rose 35% during the last year, and that is the highest jump since 1950. Wrote Perkins in The Guardian, companies are, quote, enjoying profit increases from passing on costs to customers, many who are complaining about a struggle to afford gas, food, clothing, housing, and other basics, end of quote. And if you've been tuned in, you have not really heard many consumer complaints specifically about what is coming out from these CPGs as consumers dole out what may constitute essential spending in their lives. If you have any doubt about the excessiveness in company profitability, consider that the margins, the difference between sales revenues and company costs, and that represents clear profit, have improved for the majority of companies that were analyzed by The Guardian. Its translation, consumers are taking a financial hit while companies and their shareholders profit from what might be considered bloated price increases. One outstanding example from the Guardian piece was Hershey's, which cast itself, quote, as the latest victim of ever-increasing inflation. But this is a business which experienced expanded operating margins this year, and its management recently told Wall Street analysts they can expect higher pricing moving forward. Speaking of profitability, look at Keurig Dr. Pepper, a company whose net jumped 83% this year. And it's not just CPGs that are taking advantage, if you want to look at it that way, of the situation. Chevron's two best quarters ever have taken place. Profits are up 240%. Profits at Nike are up 53%. Home Depot reported a 38% profit improvement, while Lowe's says it earned about $2 billion more in profit than earlier. Now, some economists have called the data collected by The Guardian, reported here, as business bashing, and they cite category domination by these companies and therefore volume increases by a number of them is opening the way for these expanded profits. But Groundwork Collaborative Executive Director Lindsay Owens claims corporate shareholders are disinterested in caution over any kind of price increase. And in some cases, she said, shareholders are saying, let's throttle supply, see how far we can take this. Now, it's one thing, based on your point of view, to perhaps be ripping customers off, but it's quite another thing to crow to Wall Street about the fact that you're doing it, getting away with it, and this has been the case for months. Regardless of what you abhor or admire about what's happening with consumer prices right now, researchers might want to take the time to very closely study what's happening to their brand equity, how far their pricing can grow, and whether those measures are being bypassed by other factors that have become more important. Some companies, not many, have reached the point where they're minimizing their future pricing activity. So let's all stay tuned. That's a wrap on this Research Business Daily Report for today and for this week. As we mentioned at the start of today's RBDR, we'd love for you to become a Patreon supporter, which would mean agreeing to provide a monthly contribution using your credit card. You decide how much that might be, and really no amount is too small. Please visit our exclusive crowdfunding platform at patreon.com/RBDR, and when you get there, you can literally select the level of support that is in your wheelhouse. Whatever that is, thank you. We hope you have a good research day and that this turns out to be a really good research week for you, whether you're on the client side, the vendor side, or the supplier side. And we'll hope that you'll have a good weekend, so you'll be back here on Monday to join us again. Until then, please stay safe.